and I'm connecting remotely today. I'm over at our the local. We have the minor league facility here, Trenton Thunder Baseball. We partner up and do a lot of stuff. So we're starting a batting cage program, winter workouts with Miracle League here in a couple of weeks, and I'm just moving equipment over and get everything set up in the batting cage underneath the stadium and stuff. So I was here. I figured I was just going to connect remotely. Harrison, what's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up? This is Dustin.
Okay.
All right. So are you ready to get rolling with this here?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'm recording the Zoom. So whenever you want to roll, we can get started.
Welcome back, everyone, to Baseball Brain, the Miracle League Commercial County podcast. I'm your host, Harrison Milo, alongside Dan Sweck and Dustin Royale, our guest for this episode of Dustin Rhodes. Our guest for this episode is from Ability Tech. So thank you for joining us, Dustin, and we're excited to have you.
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. I've watched a couple of your shows already.
They're sometimes epic.
Yeah.
They've never been epic. At least I say that. But
So Harrison, we've had an interesting week, haven't we?
So yes, we have.
Lot to talk about. Lot to talk about Miracle League. We have an interesting topic today, right? We're going to be discussing the Hall of Fame ballot and who we think should get into the Hall of Fame. But before we talk about the Hall of Fame, maybe do you have some questions you want to ask Dustin about him and his business and what he's done to help support Miracle League?
Sure. So I was told that you were a vendor at the Miracle League National All-Star event. How did you connect through, and how did you find out about Miracle League to be a vendor during the All-Star game?
So my son, he plays on our local Miracle League here in Sioux City. And he's been playing since the Miracle League came here. It's about 5 or 6 years now. And I own a business that builds adaptive technology for people with disabilities. And with just our connections with playing with the Miracle League, we kind of got invited to be a sponsor for the National All-Star game this year. So that's kind of how we ended up there.
You have a really interesting device that you were able to share with us while we were down in Houston. I was super excited when I saw it, and I think you knew how excited I was, the way I was acting, and very excited to say that we bought one. You saw we purchased one. I'm sure we will be buying a couple more too. But do you mind telling us what the device is, how you came up with it, and what you've done to produce it and send it to other Miracle Leagues?
Yeah, so we made the switch hitter. Unfortunately, I don't have one to show. But we invented a device called the switch hitter. And how it came about is my son plays on the Miracle League, and I always had to hold the bat and swing it for him because he's unable to do that. So one year we were like, well, he's got to be able to do it more independently and enjoy baseball more on his own. So what we did was we hit the drawing board. We came up with the current kind of design. And what it does is it allows him to push a button or a switch, and it activates the switch hitter and swings a baseball bat that can then hit the ball off of a tee. So he can do that part all on his own. And the only thing he needs help with is being pushed around the bases. So it was mainly all about making him more independent at first. And then our Miracle League fell in love with it, kind of started spreading the word. And it just kind of caught on like wildfire to everybody. Miracle League, other Miracle Leagues, just like yours, love the idea, but we've actually even sold them outside of the Miracle League. So people
Oh, wow.
like it for their siblings to be able to interact with each other from some stories we've heard back. So it was a really great product design.
How many have you actually sold to other Miracle Leagues? I know we purchased one. How many does Sioux City use? How many are you sending around all over the country?
So we've sold about 26 of them so far in 19 different states, which is amazing. So locally, we have 3 players that use them. And I think we're having a new player come on this year that may need one. So we may have 4 locally.
That's fantastic. We're actually going to be looking for a sponsor for ours.
Oh, nice.
Maybe like in sponsor out for each one that, we'll obviously have this one here to kind of show off, and hopefully we can through that get some more sponsors to get us to buy more for other players in our league that may need it. But it's just, it's the coolest thing. Really, really appreciate what you do designing, building these things, because it's just like you said, it's giving our kids a little bit more independence to do things and just show up and participate and be involved. And when we saw it in action down in Houston in November, I knew we had to go out and get one. So we can't wait to see it arrive. I know it takes a little time, but we can't wait to see that arrive. How long you've been involved with the Sioux City Miracle League? For 5-6 years now, you said?
Yep.
That's great. For those that are not familiar, who don't know much about Miracle League of Sioux City, how big is that league? How many kids are in that league, and what are some of the things that you've seen from your experience being a parent, of a Miracle League?
It's I believe, I don't know the exact numbers, but I believe last year was our biggest year, and we had I want to say right around or a little over 100 athletes signed up. And I'll tell you, from just on a parent side of it, it's hard to explain kind of like what the Miracle League is or does for parents unless you kind of show up and see it in action, because even though there's no real score or real rules, the way those individuals come together and interact, and just the excitement that they have with it is just, you just can't describe what it does.
I often say the same thing. It's hard to put into words. You kind of just have to show up and see it for yourself to really get what it is. Looks like we lost Harrison. I'm sitting here talking to you, and I got his mom texting me. We're going to try to get him back into the room. I think maybe I'm going to hit pause on.
Got it. Where it's on my phone.
To the mic. So that's cool. How does the device that the switcher work?
So how it works is it's actually battery powered. It just works off of a regular 20-volt DeWalt battery that we designed it to. But depending on the individual, so for my son, for example, he uses switches with his head. So he hits a button with his head and it will activate it, and it just releases a bat and swings around. But there's other people that use their hands or their feet to activate it. So it's all custom to the user.
Cool. So how how did you come up with this idea?
So the idea started with my son. So he plays on the Miracle League. I've had to use, I personally had to hold the bat, swing the bat for him, hand over hand. And I just, over the years, just said that he needs to be able to do this on his own with his peers. So we hit the drawing board and came up with the switch hitter.
That's cool.
So, Harrison, do you think this is something that you would like to try, perhaps even? Because we do have the one that we purchased.
I would try it because I think, I mean, obviously we have the volunteers, but I think the more we can make the kids not rely on the volunteers is better, because eventually, if those kids, if they get really good at running, if they get really good at building, we might eventually be able to get rid of those volunteers.
That's funny, but hey, you make a great point, and we want, Dustin said it too. We want you guys to have as much independence as possible. So I just think this thing is super cool, and obviously with our own little technology here, we'll be sharing pictures and some of the video of what it looks like, so that everybody that ends up watching this video podcast, will see it. But I'm so excited for it to be a part of our spring 2022 season coming up April 2nd.
Coming fast.
Yeah, it's going to be here before you know it. Harrison, we have a conversation to be had here. So I was reminded by your mother, as we're going into talk here, about this year's Hall of Fame ballot, Major League Baseball Hall of Fame ballot, that your grandpa is still on the ballot for the Baseball Writers Hall of Fame. Dustin, if you didn't, you probably don't know, Harrison's grandfather was Marty Noble. He was a sports writer for Major League Baseball. He worked for the Bergen Record, North Jersey, a number of other publications, MLB.com towards the end. He was a beat writer for the New York Mets. Has all of these great articles that are archived and just really awesome stuff. So I had to throw that out there. Mom made me swear that I would mention that he's there, since we're not going to do it. But we definitely got to get him. We got to get Marty Noble into the Hall of Fame. Let's talk a little bit about this ballot. Dustin, definitely chime in too with some of your thoughts. But I think the biggest thing, obviously, is everybody's talking about Mr. Barry Bonds. It's his last year. It's Roger Clemens' last year. Right now, it looks like they're going to have enough votes to get in from some of the early preliminary returns for the open ballots, the people that choose to share their ballot. So what do you guys think? Harrison, Dustin, do these guys deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
I think that my mom just said quietly, not Barry Bonds, but because he's the only, I think that Barry Bonds is fine, but I mean, I think that all the people that you mentioned, minus the last one, they're all the people that I know. So on my standpoint, I think they should get in.
Well, do you think it was really what Barry Bonds did, what Roger Clemens did, was that cheating? And does it really affect what their records were? I mean, you look at Barry Bonds, he was a 3-time MVP before he started using performance enhancers. I mean, the guy basically had a Hall of Fame career the first half of his year before he even started doing that stuff.
I agree.
Dustin, what do you think? You a big baseball guy? Now you're involved with Miracle League, and
It's kind of funny because I've never anything into baseball until started with the Miracle League and kind of found out how far out of touch I was. But kind of like how you said, that's with Barry Bonds, on my personal opinion, that's where it's kind of like you're on the fence with it, is because he was a good player in the beginning until the whole sports enhancement drug thing. And, it's just, you got to look at him before and after, but also you look at other athletes that kind of did the same thing and had a title strip too. So it's one of those where it's kind of on the fence.
I think a lot of people were on the fence for a long time. You look at who's in. I'm looking at John Morosi's ballot here from MLB.com. He picked Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Mark Burley from the White Sox. Really good career, but I don't know about that. Andrew Jones, who really dropped off after the first 9 or 10 years, but he was great. And then you have a couple of guys that were connected to the Phillies, local guys here. We got Scott Rowland, Jimmy Rollins, Kurt Schilling, all guys that I would say are not Hall of Famers. But if he's selecting those guys, he's definitely got to take a guy like Clemens and Bonds, who were just otherworldly before they did PEDs. Harrison, taking a look at that, like who's the one guy on this list that you think is a definite without having anything to do with steroids?
A-Rod and probably.
Who'd you say? Which guys did you say, Harrison?
Probably A-Rod and Kurt Schilling.
Kurt Schilling, I just don't like personally. I still like him, but I shouldn't. You can't base these things on who you like and who you don't like. I loved Scott Rowland. I thought he was a guy that was playing third base for the Phillies when I was in high school, and I would love to see him get in. I just don't. If a guy like him gets in, a guy like Don Mattingly should get in, who never got in. And you guys, there's Gary Sheffield, Andy Pettit, Justin Morneau from the Twins, Torrey Hunter from the Twins. A lot of guys. There are a lot of guys on this list that you look at that are like these guys that we all remember the recent years. They were really good for their time, but they're not like epically good. It's not a no-brainer like the last couple of years. Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, like you knew those guys were going in right away. Ken Griffey Jr. After Bonds and Clemens, there's no brainers here.
All right. Believe it or not, I do have Don Mattingly's rookie card.
How much do you want for it?
I've never.
I'm willing to negotiate here.
I should have mentioned that.
I would pay a pretty penny for a Don Mattingly rookie card. But I would never do that to you. I would never take a card away from you, buddy.
Pause. I'm gonna switch the mic.
We're gonna pause for a second.
Okay.
With my better mic.
All right, recording started again. This is a record, Harrison. This is the first podcast we've done where we've had to stop recording twice, but we're still rocking and rolling, dude.
All right. So all those guys who are on the ballot and who definitely deserve to get on the Hall of Fame, to get in the Hall of Fame, and those people, I think, like, I was watching a video of Derek Jeter's reaction to when he got that call saying he's in the Hall of Fame, and he was jumping up and down. And I think that all those people need that experience. And I'm not gonna lie, when you text me that, I thought you were saying we need to discuss who should win the Miracle League Hall of Fame, but I was like, I don't know.
Oh, we can definitely have that discussion one day. That will be a heated debate, the Miracle League Hall of Fame.
That was
be something.
what I thought you were talking about when you texted me, but that turned out. But all right, trivia time. What are all MLB game balls rubbed with before they are used in a game?
I know this. They are rubbed specifically with a very specific type of dirt from Jersey. The Delaware Bay Basin. It's South Jersey. I forget the town, the specific town, but it's a South Jersey town that butts up with the Delaware Bay. There's something about the nutrients in that soil that they use, but that's what it is.
You are right.
I did not know that.
Oh, that's one of our states of our Jersey pride. You know, we have purple, we have corn, we have cranberries, and we have mud. And the Sopranos.
So they started using that because a player named Ray Chapman died on the Cleveland Indians, and the players didn't have a good grasp on the balls.
Mm-hmm.
He died from being hit by a pitch. I mean, I thought that was a typo when I read that.
Nobody can ever tell you baseball is not a tough sport.
They try before they figure. So as soon my prediction is that as soon as he got hit by a pitch, the pitchers said, "Uh-oh, we need to find something that will give us something to hold the grass better." And they came up with this. They also tried shoe polish, tobacco, and dirt.
Interesting.
Question number 2. Who hit the hardest hit ball in the StatCast era, which started in 2015? A. Mike Trout, B. Giancarlo Stanton, C. Pete Alonso, or D. Aaron Judge?
Dustin, I'll let you guess first because I think I know the answer to this one too.
There's a name that I've heard before in there. Can you repeat the names again?
Mike Trout, Giancarlo Stanton, Pete Alonso, and Aaron Judge.
I'm going to go with B.
You are both right.
John.
Stanton, in 2017, hit a ball at 122.1 miles per hour.
That's a hard hit baseball.
Going back to the first question, I was watching a video on the news one day, and the Philly Fanatic hit someone in the eye with his hot dog mobile.
I think I saw that.
And that
That's right.
just wow.
Right, it was like it's like a fake gun that shoots hot dogs, right?
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
it's a hot dog cannon, like Boomer has
Chances
a
of that.
pork roll cannon.
Yeah, right. What are the odds? What are the odds? So Dustin, before we let you go today, please tell us, and obviously I was able to find you guys. I was there. I met you in Houston. But if anybody ends up listening to this podcast and they're interested in buying a switch hair from you, or you just, perusing your website, because there's so much stuff on there that we didn't talk about today, but so many interesting things that you do sell that would be beneficial to people. How do they find you? How do they reach out? How do they get in touch with Ability Tech?
So there are a bunch of different ways you can do this through our website at abilitytech.org. There's many ways you can contact the website. We're on Facebook at Ability Tech. You can find a lot of our contact information there. We try to make it as easy as possible to get a hold of us.
And I will just like I've done for every event when we've had someone who owns a business, I'll put the link to the website in the description.
Awesome. All right. Well, go ahead, Harrison. On you.
All right. So we are only days away from starting our Miracle League of Mercer County 2022 programs. And that means one thing: practice those swings and get better so I don't know what to say. Sign up. And then once you do that, you have to, if you're brand new, you will get a uniform and a hat, which I think is really cool. And
you stepped up our game with the hats this year, right? You got the dry fit Nike gear. It's been so long. I wanted to get you guys good stuff.
Are we doing that again this year?
I hope so, if I don't break the bank with it. But as long as we keep raising money the way we're doing, we'll buy you guys the best material, the best gear, the best bats and equipment. That's what
we are doing the bats for the new players.
We will be eventually. Yes, we still have a lot of baseball bats from Xylo Bat, which is also, by the way, really awesome. I'll just mention this before we go. I know, Dustin's worked very closely with Leland, and even in a lot of your demonstrations, you use Xylo Bat and you attach it to your switch hitter device to use, which is really cool.
Yeah, so it's actually really good because with every purchase, and you'll be getting a thing when I mail it to you, but with every purchase of a switch hitter, you get a percentage off on your Xylo Bat if you choose to purchase a Xylo Bat to go along with it.
There you go. How about that, Harrison? We can get more bats now at a discount.
There you go.
Switch hitters can buy Xylo Bats.
We only have one switch hitter, and we need a Xylo Bat for every player, so that's
well, we spent a couple $1,000s on that.
you like one, but I'm not saying it's a requirement, but it is the.
Hey, you got your bat at home. There's still a good like 35 players that I'm still sitting on bats in the Miracle League shed that have to get out to them. They just, we didn't get a chance to see everybody yet coming back. So I may have to start making some deliveries again. We'll have a Miracle League Prime instead of Amazon Prime.
There you go.
I like that. And I have an idea, not that this will happen again, but if we do those birthday pizza deliveries again, along with those pizza kits, they also get a free pass to come on the podcast.
Hey, why not? The only thing I'll say to that, Harrison, is I hope we don't have to go back and do all those pizza deliveries, because that means going backwards with COVID again.
We could still do them for fun, though.
Oh, we could. You're right. We could absolutely do that. So maybe we got to talk to our friend Pasquale over at Brothers Pizza. We'll do a pizza kit, and then a pass to get on the Baseball Brain podcast.
And again, I'll send you that form so we can restart up those player spotlights. We are back and we can't wait to hear your experience. I was also thinking we have a player spotlight. We also need a coach and volunteer spotlight stuff. So I will come up with that.
There you go, Miracle League Nation. Reach out to Harrison. If you're a player, you're a coach, you're a volunteer, we want to spotlight you.
All right. And that's it. See you guys next week. We are only weeks away from beginning and stepping on that miracle field out here on the Sawmill YMCA.